Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Red with only water types was a great team run, but it's been a while since we've done a solo one. Today is the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Black with a team of only one Drifloon. So Drifloon is a really cool Pokemon. It's a flying and ghost type Pokemon with pretty good health, speed, and special attack, but lower attack and bad defense and special defense. Neither ability can really help us much in this solo run, so we have to rely on our stats and moves. Speaking of moves, we start with Minimize as our obvious best move, but other than that, we only get very low power moves for a long time. It isn't until Shadow Ball, all the way at level 43, that we finally get a strong move, although Ominous Wind has some potential. By TM, we have a large list, but most of the best moves are in the post-game, so we won't get them. Acrobatics and Thunderbolt could end up being the best TMs that we can learn. And I guess Shadow Ball, but chances are we're gonna get that by level up first. Also, shout out to the dude who's been asking for a Drifloon run in Platinum for years on end now. Look, a lot of people do the whole I'm gonna ask every day until he does it thing, and then they usually give up really fast or they just make up a number. I can search names in the comments and check. This guy's week count is legit. I'll do Platinum at some point, I promise. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I think that I can win this, but I'll need to be a higher level for sure. I'm hoping that the wide selection of TMs we can use will lead us to less grinding. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Drifloon. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So, right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Tepig with Drifloon so that we can do the whole run with it. I name him Seven, like the wrestler who steals kids. Yes, that was real. Yes, they abandoned the idea almost immediately and made fun of it on TV. It was great. Wrestling is crazy. What was that, like 1999 on Nitro, I want to say? Anyway, Drifloon's abilities can only be Unburden or Aftermath, so I don't really care what we get. Our nature is hardy, so neutral stat gains. That's fine, although extra special attack would have been nice. So the early game travel is kinda weird. On one hand, some enemies straight up have no moves that can hit us. On the other, we only have Astonish and Constrict to hit them back. Both are super weak, and Astonish doesn't even work on the normal types. I guess you could say that early game progress is slow but steady. I do actually have to resort to Minimize sometimes against Patrat. I think it's Patrat and not Patrat. I don't know, no one agrees with how I say anything. Anyway, they take forever to take down with Constrict. I think that the first Charon fight might be the first fight where we can actually get hurt, at least in a trainer fight, so let's skip ahead to that. Okay, well, by the time we got to Charon, we had Gust, so we never could find out if he could hit us or not. Easy sweep. Right after is the first gym. We probably could have taken a bit more damage, but opening with a crit right away pretty much sealed the deal for them. Our stats are a little bit above the average for this early in the game, so I figured this would be easy. And of course, the Charon fight on the way out of town, he didn't even hit us. I think that that's the last of the super easy early game fights, though. I don't expect this to be an easy run. Alright, now I know the normal gym is coming up and we're ghost type, so it sounds like that would be easy, but it's actually gonna be pretty rough. Both of our Pokemon have dark type moves, Bite and Crunch. And as if that wasn't bad enough, our attack is down from Intimidate from the very start of the fight. They can't use Retaliate on us like usual, but what I'm worried about is that them not using those normal moves will keep them from doing dumber things. You remember in a lot of these previous runs, when our defense or our health was too high, they would just do stuff like spam Leer. I'm worried that because they have Bite and Crunch, they're just gonna use that every single time anyway, and this could end up being even harder than it normally is. I guess we'll find out when we get there. And right outside the normal gym was a total sweep. We didn't even get hurt, but I had to grind a ton right after to even make it to the normal gym leader. We got to our level 23, and we were doing alright damage, but the problem is that Bite really is messing us up. Even with the attack drop from Intimidate, we can take down Herdier, but Watchog always finishes us off pretty easily. I guess I could use Minimize, but it would probably take quite a few tries before it actually works. I may as well just grind longer. Okay, 3 levels later, and the fight goes the exact same every time. it hardly looks like we're even doing any more damage than before. This might be a while. Alright, well, magically at level 30, we went from not being able to take a hit from Watchog to winning the whole fight without getting hit once, because I guess we hit whatever health and defense threshold you have to be at before they just spam Leer the whole time. Alright, well, we can get moving again. Here I was thinking Bite and Crunch would keep them from wanting to do that, but nope, they decided to do it anyway. Alright, well, normally the Bug Gym ends up requiring a little bit of grinding, but we have Gust, so I don't really see it being that hard. What I'm more worried about is the Electric Gym after that. That one's a nightmare even when we aren't weak to Electric type, so I can only assume that I'm gonna be stuck there for ages. I made sure to pick up the TM for Rest while I was in town since I figure I might need it and Substitute at some point, but who knows, it just never hurts to have them. Let's go take out that gym. Okay, the Bug Gym was easy as expected, but we ended up almost getting taken down midway through with a critical smackdown. It would have been incredible if we found a way to lose that fight. In fact, I think we'd have to get crit every single round for that to happen. Bianca right after was mostly easy until right near the end when Leaf Tornado dropped our accuracy one stage and we missed twice in a row, letting her Leech Seed us. We went pretty close to going down before we won that one. That's kinda crazy. Sharon right after is normally easy, but we actually came incredibly close to fainting. It's mostly thanks to the sandstorm wearing us down, but we were in deep red health when we actually got the knockout. Hey, it leveled us up enough to get Ominous Wind, that's cool. It's basically Ancient Power, but Dark type, so we have a 10% chance of getting a full stats boost whenever we use it. Okay, we're traveling again, but I think that things are about to get really difficult. N is normally kinda hard, but I don't think he's gonna be too bad this time. It's the Electric Gym that I know will be a nightmare. I won't lie, I'm kind of tempted to use Evilite just to get past it without having to grind a ton. I actually get asked a lot why I don't use Evilite in Gen 5 runs considering how easy it is to get early on, and the reason is that I worry it would just make the run really easy and boring. It's a 50% defense and special defense boost if you're holding it while not fully evolved, so I could be using that on basically every single solo run in Pokemon Black. But if you guys think that the run would be more fun if I used it so that I didn't have to grind as much, then I'll for sure consider it. For this run though, I'm just gonna have it as a last resort in case we get to the point where we're a super high level and still way too frail to get past the enemy. Okay, so I lost a solid 9 times on N thanks to awful confusion luck with Swagger, but eventually I got a run where I didn't hit myself or get too unlucky with their move choice. Honestly, they can beat us just by using Feint Attack instead of Swagger, but it's kind of random what they actually do. If I was losing to N though, then there's no way I'm ready for the Electric Gym. Okay, so the Electric Gym is a loss, but it's a really interesting loss. We get to attack 4 times total because of the Emolga's Volt switching back and forth to each other, and although we get outsped and beaten by Zebstrika at the end, I think that we could win this. If we got a single full stats boost from Ominous Wind, then I think we'd have a chance at one-shotting Zebstrika. We'd for sure one-shot it if we got 2 boosts. 2 is a long shot, but if 1 boost can do it, then we've got this in the bag. Oh, so close. Okay, 2 tries later, and we did get the full stats boost after we already took like 2 hits. It did let us outspeed Zebstrika, but it wasn't a one-shot, so we went down. I guess I could keep trying until I get the full stats boost on the first hit, but that might take a while. I'll gain a few levels and keep trying. So I tried and failed a bunch more times at level 39 when something really weird happened. On this try, they kept using Pursuit instead of Volt Switch. I mean, it was super effective as well, but it's a much weaker move. Between that and the nice stats boost, we were able to take out Zebstrika before it could finish us off. Well, that was nice. Oh, and the Charon fight on the way out of town was super easy, partly thanks to a stats boost off Ominous Wind. I'm sure he wouldn't have been a problem normally, though. So we're on the road again, and yet again, I'm kind of worried about what's coming up. The ground gym is normally pretty easy, but they have dark moves and rock moves. I should probably fight a bunch of trainers to make sure that they don't just easily wipe us out. After that is a probably easy Bianca fight, then I think we'll have an easy time until the ice gym. You don't hear me say that the ice gym might be hard in this game often, do you? Let's see how the ground gym goes. Yeah, so this is exactly what I thought would happen. I can get past Crocodile sometimes, it depends on how Swagger goes, but Excadrill completely destroys us. Even with us learning Shadow Ball, he resists all of our moves, we do almost nothing, and he destroys us with Rock Slide pretty easily. We literally cannot learn a single move that Excadrill doesn't either resist or is immune to, so all I can do is level up and come back. This might take a while. Okay, this is insane. All the way at level 50, and we tend to get to Excadrill with more health due to Crocodile rarely using Swagger now, but we still only have exactly enough health to survive one Rock Slide after Hone Claws. We're still a hit short of taking him out, and he has another Pokemon after this. Well, our effort values have long since maxed out. Rare candies are for sure the way to go. I suspect that with a little luck, we could beat this at level 52 or 53. Okay, after 4 tries at level 52, we finally have one where he wastes time with Hone Claws, and we survive a hit so we can take him out. Plus, his last Pokemon was just a one-shot. I think I was like level 40 when I got to this town? I didn't think I'd need 12 levels to get through. Well, at least we get to breeze our way through the Bianca fight on the way out of town. Honestly, we probably could have breezed through this 10 levels lower. That's usually how Bianca goes. And for the last little fight of this boss rush is the Charge Stone Cave fight with N, where he whittled me down quite a bit, but I still don't think we were in any real danger. I do think that this could have been hard if I didn't have to grind so much for the ground gym, though. Alright, that means that we have the Flying Gym and Sharon next. The Flying Gym is normally not too much of an issue, but we can't use Shadow Ball on the part normal types. I have access to the TM for Charge Beam now, so I could use that if I want to. I may as well replace Minimize, it's not like I'm using it anyway. Oh hey, when we beat the Flying Gym we can get Acrobatics. That's a really good flying move and a great replacement for Gust. Plus after the Charon fight we can get Thunderbolt for a better electric move. It's almost time to spice up the moveset. Well, I didn't end up needing Charge Beam after all. We totally stomped her team. I guess in fairness, this is one of the easier gyms. So my first try against Charon was actually an incredibly close loss, with us taking out his last Pokemon, but only because of our ability Aftermath taking him out when we fainted. Technically that would give us a win since I still have HM Pokemon left, but it feels cheap, so I just reloaded to before the fight and basically ended up sweeping the entire team on my second try. All I had to do was take off my Lucky Egg so Acrobatics was full power, and he was a total cakewalk. I forgot just how good Acrobatics can be. Like guys, some of you try and say that like Return is OP? No, oh my god, Acrobatics with no held item on a flying type is ridiculous. That's OP. Just watch, I'm predicting it now. Acrobatics is going to be ridiculous this run. So normally I'd be going towards the Ice Gym right now, but we have to take a little bit of a detour. Now that we can surf outside of battle, we can go back to near the start of the game to start surfing west, where we can get some new routes and eventually the TM for Thunderbolt. Again, I don't know for sure if we're going to need an electric move, but TMs are reusable in this game, so it seems like a good idea to just pick up all the good stuff that we can, you know, just in case. I'd get Substitute, but that requires it's winter and I don't want to change the system clock right now, so we can wait until it's necessary. Now, will the Ice Gym be hard? Not really sure. We are weak to ice, but the Ice Gym usually ends up being easy anyway. We'll see. So the Ice Gym was pretty quick on the first try, but we nearly fainted halfway through after we hit ourselves in confusion from Swagger, then got hit with Icicle Crash. That really messed us up. And if we hit ourselves a second time, we would have fainted. But if their only hope for victory is hoping that we hit ourselves twice in a row, then we could have easily won in a few tries. Not much more travel until the end of the game. We have the last Bianca fight, the Dragon Gym, and the last Charon fight. The Bianca fight might be a bit annoying since our attack is down the whole fight, and Acrobatics is our best move right now. Of course, it's physical, but I doubt it's going to be too brutal. The Dragon Gym is typically easy, but I'm pretty sure they have some dark moves, so it might be hard, and the last Charon fight is the one that's going to give us any troubles if a Charon fight is hard. If the run is about to get difficult, then it'll either get difficult right now, or as soon as we get to the Elite Four. Either way, I picked up the Shadow Ball for TM in the Relic Castle. We already have that move, but by getting the TM, I now have the option to remove it and add it back later if we really need to overhaul the moveset at any point. I doubt things are ever going to get that drastic that I would want to get rid of Shadow Ball, but it doesn't hurt to have this. Well, the Bianca fight was super easy, but in fairness, we were super effective against nearly her entire team. We still do need to take the lucky egg off for every major fight though, since acrobatics almost always is our best move. Wow, the Dragon Gym was nearly a sweep. I'm pretty sure that the second knockout was just from the crit, but it went pretty well. They did have a dark move to do some alright damage, but we were fine. And for the last Sharon fight, it was all really easy other than Samurott taking out more than half of our health in one hit. That was kinda crazy, I didn't see that coming, and it got me kinda worried about the upcoming Elite Four. Alright, so we're doing the last bit of travel before the Elite Four, and you just know that means we're about to hit a brick wall. In most Gen 5 runs, I end up losing to each Elite Four member at whatever level I get there at, and end up having to grind. Now, this is a solo run, so our effort values are maxed out, and they've been maxed out for a while. And Gen 5's experience system makes over-leveling for solo runs incredibly slow, so there's no shame whatsoever in just using rare candies to level up. But I'd still like to try more fun and creative solutions like changing our moveset when we can. The problem is, we kind of already have our best attacking moves, and we can't get much type coverage, so it's hard to justify changing anything that we have right now. Normally, I'd say held items would help us too, but that drops acrobatics from 110 power to only 55. 110 plus the same type attack bonus is way too good to pass up. We can't just hold an item unless we know we won't need acrobatics for that fight. So now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. I mean, our health is high, and our speed is good, but that's about it. Both of our defenses are really not great, and about 100 attack and special attack is a little bit lower than what I expected. I really don't think we can win this yet, but maybe we'll be able to do this before level 70 if we're very lucky? Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Ghost Trainer Chantel. I guess it starts okay with us getting burnt by Cophagrigus before we took him down in 2 hits, but then Jellicent right after completely destroyed us with Shadow Ball pretty much instantly. Yeah, I kinda figured this would happen. Second is Dark Trainer Grimsley. Right away I knew we were doomed when we got hit by Sand Attack, but at least I didn't think that it would take long to make progress. See, Scrafty at the start nearly gets one-shot, so if I just come back a couple levels higher, then he'd probably never get a chance to use Sand Attack. I still don't think we'd beat Grimsley, but it might not be super far off. Third is Fighting Trainer Marshall. Obviously we can't win this yet, since they're really tanky and pretty much all use rock moves, but we got really close to one-shotting Throw, so I figure it might only take a few levels before we could win. Fourth is Psychic Trainer Caitlyn. Now the funny thing about this fight was that it was really easy on the first try through nothing but the sheer luck of Thunder missing us on the first turn. Seriously, because we can't stop the Shadow Ball at the end of the fight, and if Thunder hit us, then we wouldn't have had enough health to survive. I knew this would be the easiest Elite Four member, but I still easily could have fainted on that. Let's get a few levels and try Marshall again. I think that might be the one that we're the closest to winning in. Okay, only 2 levels later and Marshall's team goes down easily. The only member of his team who can't get one-shot is Sock thanks to his ability, and he hits us really hard, but then he just gets in a full restore loop until he dies. I guess Grimsley must be the next easiest, right? Okay, Grimsley is probably still the next one that we'll actually beat, but did you see how close we came to knocking out Crocodile before he took us out? He actually ended up going down to Aftermath after, so that's how you know we only need a level or 2 before we can take him out. Alright, so I gave this fight a few more tries, a few levels higher, and after coming agonizingly close to taking out Crocodile in 2 hits many times, we crit him to take him out in 1. The funny thing is, it didn't matter because the rest of his team took us out so easily. I guess I should be trying Chantel instead. Well, I tried the Chantel fight, but it goes the exact same as before. We get burned turn 1, we take out Cophagrigus pretty fast, but the Shadow Ball and burn damage slowly takes us down after. Man, we're not even close to beating Grimsley or Chantel yet. Guess I'm gonna have to level up a lot more. Alright, level 72, and I think the Chantel fight is almost possible. Did you see how close we came to finally getting a one-shot at the start? If we could just land that one-shot so we don't get burned, then we might finally stand a chance. I don't know for sure. Man, I really thought I had it this time. We didn't get one shot right away, but Will-O-Wisp missed and we landed the one shot on the next try. But it didn't matter because we still got overpowered the old-fashioned way by Chandelure. We haven't made it to the final team member even once. Okay, after a ton of tries at level 77, where I was just desperately trying to get Ominous Wind to activate, I finally got it to happen. If it doesn't happen, then we go down to Chandelure every time. But just having one boost let me sweep the rest of her team instead. We finally won. We're still not all that close to winning the Grimsley fight, though. If we got a perfect crit, then we could have won, but even on our best run, we can't take out Bisharp, and we have way too low of health to survive his attacks. Maybe by level 80, we can brute force it? Level 80, and I'm still losing, but we had 130 health this time when we got to Bisharp. Surely we must just need a little bit more defense and health to survive this, right? Okay, I was convinced that level 81 would have been enough to survive with the right damage range, but it wasn't. It actually wasn't until level 83 that we finally got the win. I know the Gen 5 Elite Four is kinda hard, but this one was really brutal. With the Elite Four down, all that's left is the final two fights with N and Getsus. I really don't know how well this is gonna go. Part of me thinks that it might be easy considering how much I had to level up just to get here, but you never know. All it takes is one or two Pokemon with strong, super effective moves, and we're useless. Let's hope for the best. Well, there's a lot of firsts this run. Normally Zekrom is one of the least dangerous members of N's team, but because he's part electric type, we literally could not take him out. Oh god, are we gonna have to be a crazy level to win this run? Alright, I guess I'll get a few levels and hope for a two-shot. 3 levels later, and not only can we still not two-shot him, but he is doing 200 damage per attack. This is insane. So I tried a few times at level 90, and although we were finally able to take out Zekrom and one-shot Vanillix right after, we were way too hurt and just went down to Stone Edge from Caracosta, thanks to his ability keeping him from being a one-shot. Also, he didn't need that crit to finish us off. Stone Edge misses sometimes, and the fight is consistent leading up to that, so I'll give it a few tries. Okay, you're not ready for this one. Zekrom and Caracosta both just missed, so we ended up beating N's entire team without getting hit. The Pokemon gods are really throwing me a bone after how bad the Elite Four was, I guess. Time for Getsus. Right away, Cofagrigus was a one-shot with Shadow Ball, and second was Bisharp, who instantly took out almost half of our health with Night Slash before we two-shot him. Third was Bufflant, who took himself out with a Wild Charge, but it left us with only 28 health, so Electros simply survived a Shadow Ball and took us out. Maybe I could try this one with Ominous Wind and get a different result? Level 93, but the fight is still going basically the same. We can one-shot Cofagrigus with Ominous Wind now, so I figure if I just try like 10 or so times so that we get the stats boost, then it might be enough to start landing some much-needed one-shots on stuff like Electros. Let's keep trying. Alright. After an entire 28 tries where I did not get a single, not one full stats boost, I decided to just gain 2 levels and see if that would help us at all. The answer is it really didn't. We still get stuck on Electros, and although we knock him out now, it's just from Aftermath. The worst part is that I think Electros might be the last member of his team that's particularly dangerous. I'm not going to waste my time trying to get the stats boost off Ominous Wind when it literally hasn't happened once in the last hour of me trying. I'll get to level 100 and just see what happens. Wow. Alright, I guess we really do need the stats boost. Even at level 100, the fight goes basically the same way. Would you look at how close we are to getting one-shots on multiple of them? Maybe if we could land one crit before they hit us, that could get us a win? Okay, this fight is officially agony. Another 5 levels later, still no boost, even though I'm using Ominous Wind twice in the fight now, but Bisharp used his Stone Edge, which was doing less damage than Night Slash, and Bufflant was a one-shot for the first time ever. So I thought for sure that we had this one in the bag, just for his Hydreigon to survive with a sliver and finish us off. Okay, I think I officially cannot win this fight without the stats boost. The worst part is, I'm pretty sure the stats boost would make us win really easily. We just need it to happen. It's a 10% chance. Why is this so rare today? Man, you are not ready for this one. On the next try, we crit Bisharp, so it never hurts us at all. And we crit the Bufflant right after, so it doesn't hurt us either. Electros still hits hard, but he gives me more chances to use Ominous Wind. We took him out, but still no boost. For Hydreigon, I used Acrobatics twice to take him out, but we're down to only 106 health. Last is Seismitoad, but I blew it forgetting he's part ground type and using Thunderbolt, but he just used Rain Dance, so we followed up with Acrobatics and one-shot him. I can't believe that of the 50 or 60 times I used Ominous Wind in the last couple hours, I did not get a single stats boost. Well, that got pretty brutal near the end. I mean, it's my fault for coming back to solo runs with a Gen 5 run when those are usually pretty brutal. I hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Platinum with only one Shuckle. Ooh, that's gonna be a slow one. I still don't have the auto-fire buttons working for Pokemon Platinum yet, so man, there's gonna be a lot of mashing in that one. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time. All right, so I've been trying to make an effort to do a lot of a mix of solo runs and team runs, and really interchange them a little bit more recently. I already like having generations swap out a lot often, where I will intentionally make it so that I never go too long without doing a generation of games between 1 and 5, and counting stuff like Heart Gold and Emerald and Fire Red as their own kind of separate things, because the remakes really do not replace the earlier games in any logical sense when it comes to these challenges, Some people ask, why do you do red runs if you can do Fire Red? Because Fire Red runs completely different as a video game. Most of the mechanics have been changed, tons of glitches have been changed, the AI has been changed, enemy teams have been changed, movesets have been changed. 2/3 of the moves in the game didn't even exist in the first game. So, you could do the same challenge with the same Pokemon in Pokemon Red and then do it in Fire Red, and how it's gonna go is completely different. That's the reason why I do both originals and remakes. They're just so different from generation to generation as new game mechanics get introduced, and new moves and abilities get introduced. God, abilities didn't even exist in Gen 1. That changes how Gen 1 is played a lot. Anyway, I've been trying to do a better job of swapping back and forth between team runs and solo runs, maybe 2 team runs in a row, 2 solo runs in a row, or 1 then 1. Stuff like that, just to have more variety. I think it's fun that way, keeps things fresh. Let me know what you think. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.